In this video, I'll be testing the Gaahleri Ace Series Swallowtail Rex Trigger Style airbrush using the new Kaleido Primary Colors acrylic paints. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to MapleLeaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and today I've got an exciting unboxing and testing video brought to you by Gaahleri, who, as part of an ongoing collaboration with MapleLeaf Customs, has sent me a Swallowtail airbrush as well as their new set of 24 Primary Colors acrylic paints. Looks like they've also included this industrial-sized bottle of matte gray primer. I'll make that part of the testing too. You can see it's a brand new box, and this package was part of their collaborative edition with Gaahleri Rex, a channel that I'm sure you're familiar with if you're a hobbyist and an airbrusher. He's put his name on this one. It's part of their Ace series. Always beautiful packaging from the people at Gaahleri. I'll slice through the last few pieces of tape and get this opened up. Let me draw your attention to this most important inclusion, and that's their guarantee. If you have any problem with a Gaahleri product, you don't even need to return it. Let them know about it, and they're going to send out a new one to you. You can't beat that. Couple of words from Gaahleri Rex here. And as always, a fold-out quick start guide with assembly instructions, maintenance and cleaning tips, and assembly procedures. Good idea to hang on to that. There's just one last piece of protective foam, and here's the kit. Couple of replacement Teflon O-rings. Let's see the airbrush. Got a really nicely designed ergonomic handle. Fits perfectly in my hand. I love that this is a trigger style. I've got a little bit of early onset arthritis in my index finger, and that's just more comfortable for me. Gaahleri includes two different size cups. This is a gravity feed airbrush, so they'll thread right onto the top. And you've got some extra accessories to swap out a 0.5 or 0.7 millimeter needle with the accompanying nozzle attachments. So that means the 0.28 millimeter is built in. That's how it ships. Everything's well labeled and securely protected. I'll do a needle change a bit later. And there's the exploded view. That will help you for disassembly and reassembly purposes. Gaahleri has a full and expanding inventory of airbrushes and accessories. You can find them all by following the link I've left in the description to this video. And when you're ready to make an order, make sure you use the coupon code MapleLeafCustoms to get an extra 10% discount. That's always in effect. Okay, now it's time to break into the Primary Colors paint set. Also brand new box. These were two separate mailings, but I wanted to put them together in one unboxing and testing video. The Kaleido ColorWorks paints came out in the summer of 2025. I've already been able to test the auto colors and the metal colors. This will be the third box that they've sent me, and I'm very appreciative of their generosity to me. This foldout contains a very handy color guide with all of the different combo kits you can order. If you've seen my previous product review videos, you already know that these are outstanding acrylic paints. Here's a 60 milliliter bottle of thinner, which is interesting because they advertise that these don't need thinners, but if you're doing super fine detail work, you might want to put a couple of drops in there. And some airbrush cleaner too. Right, let me take them all out so you can see everything set up on my hobby desk. 24 of them. These are 20 milliliter bottles in comparison to Vallejo, who sends you 17 milliliters. And here's the full color chart. As I said, it comes shipped with a 0.28 millimeter needle, so I'll begin my spray test with that using some of their black primer. First, that's how wide a spray you can get with this needle. I don't do fine detail airbrushing. I'm not a portrait artist, so forgive my clumsy efforts at this. But the closer you get, the finer the line. Pull it back, get a little bit of a wider spray, like so. Pretty good trigger action here, as you can see. Please bear in mind that MapleLeaf Customs is a die-cast car customization channel. That's the kind of hobby work that I do here in Switzerland, and therefore that's the kind of airbrush that I'm looking to accommodate my needs and what will probably appeal most to my regular viewers. This is the cone off the top of a fantasy car, a project I'm currently working on. And you can see the primer covers that lime green nicely. Now we'll shoot it onto a couple of 3D resin printed parts. These are two different styles of parabolic radars. Okay, good start, but I'm not likely going to use that 0.28 millimeter needle very often, so I'll swap that out for the 0.5 millimeter. I've taken the parts I'll need to do that out of the box. It's an easy disassembly procedure. You need not be apprehensive about doing this. Take the back of the tail off, loosen the chuck, and pull the needle back so I don't do any damage to it while I'm working on the front. There I remove the 0.28 millimeter nozzle and cap. I extract the needle through the front. I had done a quick cleaning and you can see there's no black primer residue left on that needle. So I'm putting it away perfectly clean. Same with the other components. In the tube is a tiny piece of foam protecting the 0.5 millimeter quick release nozzle. Drop that into the nozzle cap, self-centering. And you can feel the quality in the Gaahleri products here by the ease with which they thread on and off to the airbrush assembly. in comparison to the cheaper no-name brands, of which I have a few. Here's the larger needle. You can probably see the difference. 0.5 on the left, a little thinner 0.28 millimeter on the right. I carefully feed the needle back in. Tighten the chuck and do a visual at the front end. I put the open view tail back on, which allows me to still make adjustments. And the cap, which is particular to the 0.5 millimeter nozzle, goes on at the end. There's only 2 nozzle tubes, so the 0.28 goes into the 0.5 tube. I'll relabel that. Carefully put all the components back into the box and put that away for safekeeping. Let's do a spray test on the 0.5 millimeter needle using the new primary color paints. This is Shine Red. Straight into the airbrush, no thinners or reducers. And we'll do the perfunctory spoon test. It's a gloss finish. Look at that. I'm going to hit a couple of die-cast Porsches as well because I'm working on those right now. This one had a matte white primer base on it. Remember, the Kaleido ColorWorks are acrylic paints, but they spray and lay down like lacquer. It's quite impressive. This is the primary color blue. I do a quick clean out between these. Look at that, 2 passes is all you need. Green. I haven't treated the spoons. This is the bare plastic with no primer. These are all advertised to be scratch resistant as well. I haven't tried that. Luckily, I haven't dropped one. Another common primary color is yellow. I find yellow hard to work with in this hobby, but this one goes on and fully covers in 2 passes. Another quick clean, another color. This is orange. That's nice. The orange in the auto color set is even more vibrant than this one. I'll do just a few more that are different. This is salmon pink. It's not red, it's not pink, it's right in the middle. You know what's nice about these acrylics? There's no odor. That's a bonus. Here comes some lime green. And that's what you would expect. Again, in the auto colors set, the verde green is even more striking. The next one is this nice dark purple. Back to the die-cast cars and another Porsche. Super nice coverage on these. That's a beautiful purple. I don't think of black as a primary color, but you need to have a black and a white in every set, so I'll give it a try on a car. This was also prepped with Kaleido matte white primer. All of these have given me totally satisfactory coverage. I'm going with the basic gray now. This one's going on top of a cobblestone diorama done on my FDM printer with a black filament. I'm not saturating this one because I want the black to show through in all of the crevices. Finally, on another 3D model, this is a resin-printed Carthaginian war elephant, which is something different for my channel. I'm first applying matte gray primer, still using the Swallowtail with the 0.5mm needle. The ColorWorks paints are great for mixing too, so I've put a little bit of black together with some off-white, which gave me this darker gray for the elephant hide. Now I'm going to experiment hand brushing the ColorWorks paints in case there are any model painters out there who are watching. Another mix of two colors, off-white and yellow, gives me this bone color, or maybe I'll call it custom tusk color. I'm going to hand brush the wooden citadel in this brown. All of these are from the primary color set. So far it's a great start with the fine detail brushes as opposed to the airbrush. Earlier I sprayed the basic blue. This is sky blue that I'm going to brush on the elephant's headdress. Russet is slightly darker than the primary red. I think these are just fine for hand brushing applications. Fast forward now to the fully detailed finished product, including the Carthaginian soldiers and diorama. All the spoons are dried up, so here's one last look at the primary red, as well as on this die-cast car. There's no gloss coat applied, so that's extra impressive. There's my blue spoon. All of these can be lightly sprayed or another coat to make them darker. Nice orange. Again, yellow's tough to work with, in my opinion, but that came out brilliantly. Remember the salmon pink? Contrast that to the red. You see they're not exactly the same. So you've got a great variety in these 24 different colors. I'm showing you only 8 of them. Lime green and purple on a car. Beautiful. And where'd my spoon go? There it is. So that's a sampling of the primary colors. You can watch my demos on the auto color set as well as the metal colors. I have not tested the mecha colors. Remember, there's a set of 4 primers and 3 different varnish finishes. Check them all out at the Gaahleri website. And thanks for visiting here today. I hope this was helpful to you and that you'll come back soon and often. It's coffee time.